All right, we are back with some tier lists. This time, we are doing the objectively best snacks tier list. This is from a great Twitter user by the name of Foosjoda. Great name. Skyrim fans. If anyone in any Skyrim fans, say Foosjoda in chat right now, please. Thank you. Now, before we do the tier list, I have to tell you about my own preferences. This is probably, people have very strong opinions about snack foods. And I think that this is probably a tier list that has the potential to make you more upset than most of the tier lists I've done. I really don't like sweet stuff as much as salty stuff. So when people, like, you know, they go to the convenience store and they're like, oh, my average order, you got to get like a little Debbie cake. You got to get like, you know, a honey bun or something like that. You got to get a cosmic brownie. I'm like, that stuff doesn't appeal to me. But the salty snacks appeal to me greatly. So just keep that in mind. I'm not trying to suggest that this is like the best list of snacks that you could possibly have. This is just my list for me personally. Also, some of these, I think I've eaten most of these, but some of these I have not eaten. Like the, I don't know if I've ever seen Chex Mix, but I could be wrong. Anyway, let's get started. For those of any eye users in chat, any eye users might not know what this is. These are animal crackers, okay? Animal crackers, if you're not familiar, used to be the dessert that they put in Happy Meals at McDonald's, I think. They're lightly sweet, perhaps a little bit of vanilla flavoring is associated with them. I'll just be honest with you. First off, they shouldn't call them animal crackers because they're more like animal cookies. It's much more like, you know, a cracker is like a thin circle or square or rectangle that tends to be more savory than sweet. This is, it has topography associated with it. It's cut with a cookie cutter, and it's a little sweeter than it is salty. So that's all I'm saying. I could take them or leave them. Look, I wouldn't throw them in the trash can. I think that's a little bit too far. But I would say animal crackers for me. I'm just gonna start slow, man. I would put them in the D tier. I'm not inspired by this snack. I would eat it if somebody offered me one. I would be like, yeah, let's do it. I'll take an animal cracker. The ones that are shaped like an elephant are the best tasting ones. But I would never buy this for myself and be like, oh, this is such a treat for me. Now, I need to ask a question, okay? Because we have kettle cooked chips here, but we also have kettle cooked chips here. I thought we were going to speak about the kettle cooked brand in general, but I think maybe we will actually be looking at two different flavors of kettle cooked chip. Okay. Are there Miss Vickies? I don't see any Miss Vickies in here. So this is a tough one because, I mean, we're going to be going for like a long time potentially here, okay? Because we got a lot of thoughts on these. I like the thought of eating this brand, the Kettle brand chip. I like the thought of eating them more than I like eating them. And I've talked a lot about snack psychology and philosophy. I always feel like after the third or fourth kettle chip, I start to feel like, and this is just a me thing, they taste good, but they're a little greasy. They make my stomach start to feel a little bit like, you know, hurdy-gurdy. And I find myself wishing that I could eat more of them than I could actually eat. That being said, I do think the flavor of them is great. I do need to acknowledge kettle cooked is okay. Maybe even better than okay. Miss Vicky's chips, though, which they've had in... I've seen that they're now in America, but Miss Vicky's chips have been in Canada for like 30 years. It's the dominant brand of kettle cooked chip. Miss Vicky's sea salt and malt vinegar is an S tier chip. Jalapeno, S tier chip. Sweet chili and sour cream, S tier chip. But kettle is like a level below that, in my opinion. But I'd probably put it up here in the B tier. Like, I have tricked myself into buying these at the grocery store for sure. And the barbecue flavor is nice. I prefer the salt and vinegar, to be honest, but the barbecue flavor is nice. Bugles. Am I correct in the assumption that Bugles are one of the worst snack foods for you to eat, nutritionally speaking? I haven't had a Bugle in probably like 5 or 10 years, but they're like 3-dimensional corn chips that look like Elvira's fingernails, right? I think they're like very oily is the thing. Fibbler. Thanks for the gifted subscriptions, by the way. Thank you. I think a Bugle is, honestly, this is one of those snacks. Like, look, if I'm going to the grocery store to buy snacks, I'll spoil some stuff for you. I'll buy some Harvest Cheddar Sun Chips now and then. I could buy some Goldfish crackers without a doubt. I could buy some Doritos. I would definitely buy some Tostitos. I'm not going to buy a bag of Bugles. That just seems like conspicuous consumption for me. Like, it's not, it tastes okay, but is so bad for you when you could move up the graph towards like better nutrition and better taste. So this for me, I got to put it in the C. Again, C for me is more like if it was out in a bowl at a party, you know, when those still existed, I would eat them over the animal crackers without a doubt. But I would not purchase for myself. Chex Mix, I have to be honest, I don't think I've ever had. I don't know if I've ever had Chex Mix, so I'm just gonna put it in the trash can as like a. I'm just gonna hold them here, okay? I don't know. People are acting like this is so common. It's very popular. Is it? Not here, maybe. Like I think I've been to places where there has been Chex Mix. You know what? I can on Canada this, because we have something in Canada called Munchies. The jokes make themselves. It's pretzels, Cheetos, unflavored Sun Chips, which is very weird, and then something else. I don't remember what the fourth thing is. It's the same thing? I mean, I think the Sun Chips are actually supposed to be Harvest Cheddar, but they definitely aren't sending their best Sun Chips into the Munchies bag. Oh, and Doritos. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if we're saying that these are Munchies, these are cheese Munchies, then, I mean, Munchies have got to be up here. I would put them in the B tier again. Maybe they're close enough to be a reasonable analog. Again, I would never buy them for myself, but honestly, at the party, this would be a go-to. I might even go for. I'd probably go for. I don't know. It depends on my mood. It'd be close. It'd be close which one I would go to first. I don't think I have bought Munchies at the grocery store though, since I was like literally 17 years old. And I'm gonna make people somewhat angry, I think. I don't think we really have combos here either, and I know those are loved. So I'm gonna just put all the combos in here right off the bat, and I'm looking for everything else. I think I've eaten everything else. Except I think I've eaten Nutty Bars before. These are classic like school lunch edition. I've definitely eaten everything else on this list to the best of my knowledge, right? Except the Chex Mix, which I don't even know like what to do with it. Like, what if this is Munchies? What the heck is this? Is this like Bits and Bites? I don't even know what, like, Bits and Bites are. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing, but they're like, you know what? You're right. Let's just leave them up here. Because I see some things that I'm going to throw in the trash can. Cheese balls. I'm very skeptical of any food that comes in a container this big. Sometimes when I go to like my in-laws' place, this is like one of those things. They'll just have like an industrial drum of like cheese balls and dandy pack pistachios like sitting on their coffee table. And it just is like, I envy people who can live their life like that, because if those were on the table for me, they'd be gone in a day, 2 days maybe, even given the size of them. Like, it's something that I think it's, again, just kind of like mindless consumption. I don't even mean that as like, I resent the fact that people are going to type like based. But anytime I've had a cheese ball, I've always been like, this is something I'm eating just to eat. Like, I'm just bored. So I'm eating this to be slightly less bored at like the expense of my long-term health. And they also go stale so fast. Like, I actually think these are just rejects from like the Corn Pop factory. I don't even know, not the Joe Biden villain, but like the cereal. Like, I think when they have like irregular Corn Pops, they just put some cheese on them and then put them into cheese balls here. So, like, I gotta say, to be honest with you, I'd probably put this in the D tier. I'd probably put it below the animal crackers as well. Just because I almost feel like when I eat animal crackers, it's like I'm having a snack I can kind of feel good about because they're not truly awful for you. They taste pretty good, and they're not horrendous for you. Cheese balls taste acceptable, but are not good for you. And also, I don't like a snack, and I'll make exceptions, but I don't like this snack does not taste good enough for you to have to wash your hands after it. It's as simple as that. If they tasted better, I wouldn't mind washing my hands. But for tasting this bad, they require a little bit too much work compared to their competition. Flaming Hot Cheetos. I must admit, I've only had them one time in my life. I was in Novato, California. Not Nevada. I know it sounds like a Lamborghini Mustang type thing. And I made a special... I was like, well, I'm in America. I'm only here for like 2 days. I gotta eat some stuff that they don't have where I live. So, you know, the first thing I ate was good Mexican food. Had a great time. And then I walked to a gas station and bought Flaming Hot Cheetos. Now, the only thing I'm going to say, they were delicious, but I will, and worth the hand wash. You're absolutely true. But they probably would have been S tier. With the existence of Takis Fuego, I think I got to stick them in the A tier. Because the memory of the Flaming Hot Cheetos, I was like, these are good. Great even. But the Takis like blew out the list for me. Like I wasn't even able to like, oh, these are regular Cheetos. You're absolutely okay. Wait, Flaming Hot Cheetos. And okay, well, you know what? These are the crunchy. Sorry, these are the regular. There, I saw them right there. The puffy ones, or maybe the regular ones are the crunchy ones, and the puffy ones are called puffy. I still think regular Cheetos are A tier as well. When I was like a kid, this was the snack that my parents would buy when it was like movie night or something like that. And I was always like, oh my God, crunchy Cheetos is like the greatest snack of all time. And you know what's great about it? It's a strictly better cheese ball. Because if you suck all the cheese off of the crunchy when it's in your mouth, you just got the cheese for free. And then when you eat it, it's a better cheese ball. Like this minus the cheese powder equals this. So I don't know what the hell they're doing over at like the Utz factory. But anyway, that's eldritch knowledge. In a way, maybe. I love a crunchy Cheeto. Can I tell you something? A lot of people are of the opinion that the American version of everything is worse than all foreign versions of it. Take it from somebody that had a lot of hungover meals at the GS25 in South Korea. Korean Cheetos, not as good as American Cheetos. Different, might scratch some people's back in a way that it is preferable to them, but not as good as the American version. I know people are always like Mexican Coke is better than the high fructose corn syrup Coke, but I'm telling you, American Cheetos go pretty hard. Now, Cheetos, or Cheez-Its, sorry. I love a cheese-flavored cracker. Cheez-Its, Cheese Nips, Cheese Bits, Ritz with the fake cheese whiz. I'm all about it. The original Cheez-Its, they didn't used to have this in Canada. They only recently brought it around. I don't buy it because I'm trying to be responsible with my life, but the Cheez-It is a fantastic snack. The visible salt is a nice touch. And the flavors are good, man. This is not something where like sometimes they'll be like, oh, rosemary and honey Triscuit or something like that. Dude, the white cheddar Cheez-Its or double white cheddar goes pretty hard too. Oh man. I love a Cheez-It. Anyway. No, it's a Kellogg's product. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't buy like any of this shit anyway. But it do taste good sometimes. I don't buy this stuff. Like, maybe I'll buy some Goldfish from time to time. But everything else on this list is like, I go to somebody else's house, and they're like, hey, check it out. Lay's Poppables. And I'm like, oh, man. Okay. Cool Ranch Doritos. What is there to say? I like them. Strictly superior flavor to nacho cheese. Maybe not the best Dorito flavor. Strictly better than nacho cheese, in my opinion. I would also... The only thing I'll say about Cool Ranch, and this happens with every snack that has powder on it, when you get the chip that has a disproportionate amount of powder, it's S tier. When you get a chip that has no powder, you actually tasted like a null Dorito. Like it quantum tunneled through the powder step, and you tasted a plain Dorito. Like it's forbidden knowledge. But I would still honestly put this up here in the A tier. I would probably rather have a Cheeto and a Flaming Hot for sure. But I would put the Cool Ranch in the A tier. Corn Nuts need to be taken off the market. And I say that without like a hint of irony. They don't taste that good, and they're just absolutely deadly for your teeth. Like they feel like a bad thing. Like all this stuff is bad in its own way, I guess, health-wise. But corn nuts are actually like harmful to the physical health of your teeth. Every time I eat one, I feel like I'm actually like at risk of cracking my molar, and I don't have any like dental health issues. Sincerely, like I actually think these just don't like. Can they just make them a little softer? I love crunch and crispiness as well, but like, can they just make them like 20% softer, like others, crunchy snacks? Because these are like, it's like eating a jawbreaker every time. You need to crack the shell. Don't you crack the shell in with your molars though, right? I don't. Maybe I've been getting. America's sending us like the ones that tested at like diamond level or something like that. But there might be some truth to this. Okay, I don't know. I feel like every time I've eaten corn nuts, it's been like minus 10 degrees Celsius outside. So maybe they're getting a little affected by the temperature. But like, I feel like this is genuinely when I took the combos out of the trash can because I never had them. The reason I took them out is so I could put corn nuts in. Because I genuinely... This is now at the tier of, like, if someone... Like, if I went to, I don't know, like, a media event, and they gave me a goodie bag to take home, and there was a bag of corn nuts in it, I would throw the corn nuts in the trash because I think it's deleterious to eat them for my dental health. It's like a self-preservation act, like an act of self-love to throw this snack out before you end up eating it. I think it's just, like, it's not good. I'd see a lot of people saying weak teeth, weak teeth. I don't see a lot of people saying corn nuts are awesome. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, there's one person that just said they were really good. But, okay, this is where we start to make enemies. All the Lil Debbie, Joe Louis, that's a Canadian brand, I think. All this stuff is ass. It's all trash. I'm sorry. This is like the only use for these products is prison currency, I think. I ate them as a kid because, like, again, I was a kid in the 90s and, like, you know, my class, in the 90s, you couldn't have, like, a meal without having dessert. People were like, oh, I had no salad, no problem, but where's my dessert, right? So every day for, like, school lunch, you'd have something sweet. And every once in a while, it would be, like, a cosmic brownie or a honey bun or, like, a Swiss roll or something like that. Even as a child, I was like, these aren't that good. The sprinkles are, like, the chocolate, it gets, like, stuck to the roof of your mouth. It has, like a sheen on it or something. Like, for hours after you eat a cosmic brownie, you will have, like, a chocolate coating on the roof of your mouth. Every time you, like, swallow, you're just taking a little bit off, and you're, like, trying to swallow hard. You're, like it's like you're trying to clean, you know, a stain off of your toilet bowl or something like that. And then the sprinkles are, like, not even sprinkles. It's just, like, it's just a piece of matter with food coloring on it. It's not a taste. It's inert in the taste department. It's just the texture. Certainly, I would tell you, I mean, to be honest, I was going to say F tier because I don't think they're actually as physically dangerous as the corn nuts. But I actually think that I would probably, I don't know, though, because, like, hear me out. Nutty Bars are probably more likely to go in the trash can. Maybe we should leave some space in the trash can for everything else, but I mean, like, the brownies, they're not good. Again, I'm not trying to filter this all through, like, a nutritional standpoint. But, like, this is something where, like, I feel like most snacks, while you eat them, you're like, this is worth it. Then afterwards, you're like, I shouldn't have done that. This is a snack that even, like, while you're eating it, you're like, this isn't worth it at all. Like, I shouldn't have even started. This is the kind of snack you take, like, 2 bites, and then you get, like, the post-snack clarity before you've even finished the snack, and you end up throwing out, like, 45% of a cosmic brownie. You can hate me if I'm speaking my truth. I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm speaking my truth, okay? French onion sun chips. I got to tell you that they broke the mold when they made sun chips. They do not make any other potato chip in the shape of a beach towel emoji or, like, a curtain. There's something about it's I love a Ruffles, don't get me wrong. I hope there's some Ruffles. I see some Ruffles on the list here. And there's something about the ridges, like, they create a pattern of, like, unequal distribution of flavoring powder. And I think it's for the best. I gotta tell you, I loved when they made that biodegradable bag that was louder than any other device created by man. You'd be trying to sneak out, like, 3 potato chips at midnight, or I guess they're not potato, but try to sneak them out at midnight, and it's like, they do taste, they taste healthier, and they're marketed as sun chips. So, like, how could they be bad for you? Don't look at the back. I will say, though, French onion, I can't realistically, like, I can't put it in the C tier with the Bugles. I'm sorry. I gotta put it in the A tier. It wouldn't be my first choice of sun chip flavor. The first choice is obviously Harvest Cheddar. But I'm eating them. If they're around, I'm eating them. No question about it. This is also part of the subcategory of snacks, things that you can add to your foot-long sandwich to turn it in from just a little appetizer into a whole meal. Oh, sorry, A tier. A. Oh, no, actually, I meant B. I just said the letter wrong. Yeah. I would not. I mean, this is one of these things where I would rather not buy these just because there's always a strictly better flavor. Orange bag. Fritos. I feel like Fritos are what corn nuts want to be. Like, Fritos have a serious crunch to them. Like, that's my upper enjoyable maximum of crunch, I think, is the Frito. Not so hard as to make you afraid for your dental work. That means I don't think the flavor of them is very good, but I do think that the texture of them is nice. And I think that makes for a perfect C-tier food. But I'm trying to figure out, wait, so the Fritos barbecue is pretty tasty. But this is not barbecue. This is original. What is original flavor? Original flavor is just, it's like corn and a light dusting of salt. Okay, I stand by it. Fruit snacks are so weird. It's like if they made healthy candy, but it didn't taste as good as candy, and it was still pretty bad for you. Welch's is top tier. I had no idea. I honestly thought, because I'm realizing I'm on the opposite, I'm on the wrong side of history here. I thought fruit snacks were exclusively a reluctant snack. I thought it was like the snack that your grandparents start stocking in their cupboards instead of candy when your grandfather gets diagnosed as pre-diabetic. Or like, you know, your aunt goes on a diet and you're 8 years old and she's like, hey, you know, do you want a snack? And you're like, yeah, what do you got? And she's like, Welch's fruit snacks. And it's not even like the adult size bag. It's like the little self-contained fruit snacks bag. Some of them only have like 3 fruit snacks in the whole thing. You're on drugs? I'm not on drugs. These are real stories, okay? I didn't realize that people willfully eat fruit snacks. I don't mind them, but I thought I was the weird one for not minding them. You know, in Canada, we had a fruit snack / candy pack called So Delicious. Maybe it's American, and I'm making myself look like a fool. That tasted like they all tasted like soda. Oh man! And when you got a couple of the root beer ones in a So Delicious pack. I mean, as a kid, you know, you might be able to drink like 1 soda a day or something like that, but you could eat just a crap load of So Delicious. Anyway, just like, I mean, the Welch's, I've had the Welch's fruit snacks. By the way, is this company still alive? I feel like grape juice has fallen on hard times. Maybe I've aged out of the primary demographic or have not aged into the primary demographic. When I was a kid, grape juice was everywhere. You couldn't shake a stick without getting offered some grape juice. People got so bored of the normal grape juice, they started drinking the white grape juice instead. I feel like I have not seen a container of grape juice in like 15 years, something like that. You never see it in like a juice fountain. Like if you're at a breakfast buffet, it's always orange, apple, cranberry, maybe grapefruit if you're fancy. Where the hell did the grape juice go? I never see it in people's fridges. I've never heard anybody order a grape juice at a restaurant. I think they'd get laughed off the premises. Yeah, can I get this 32-ounce ribeye? Anything to drink, sir? Yeah, can I get a big old glass of grape juice? You got Welch's grape juice? Back there? Are you insane? We've got orange, apple, cranberry, grapefruit. Grape. Anyway, I don't have anything against it. I'm just saying what happened. Anyway, long story short, fruit snacks are okay. I would not buy them to eat myself as an adult, but we will probably buy them for our daughter when she gets a little older, at which point I imagine I'll definitely sneak a couple in. So let's put it up. I mean, it's definitely below Fritos. Like, come on. It's not even close. Okay, Funyuns. I think Funyuns are pretty good. I definitely feel like this is a love it or hate it. Because they legitimately, it's like if you stripped the orange off of a puffy Cheetos and then just dusted it with like garlic and onion powder. But I'm for them. Number one snack I used to get in Korea as well is called Yangpa rings. It's the exact same shit except like a little crunchier. But I think Funyuns are honestly better. So I'm a Funyun guy. Now, would I buy them for myself at the grocery store? Absolutely not. I think they're like a high C tier for me. I feel like I haven't seen these in so long that my normal heuristic breaks down. Because if I saw these at a party in a bowl, they'd be the first thing I ate just because it's been so long. But I'd still, I mean, I can taste the Sun Chips in my mouth, to be honest with you. Same tier as Bugles. I think they're like the same snack. Pepperidge Farms Goldfish. This is one of my... I filibuster a little bit when I talk about the Pepperidge Farms Goldfish. I hate that this is considered only a snack for children. Why is it that every other snack, every other configuration of like baked wheat, cheddar cheese, and salt is for all ages? If it's shaped like a triangle, you're like, that's an adult snack. If it's shaped like a fish, people are like, only kids eat those. It's the same ingredients as like almost every cheese-based snack on the list. Just because it's a fish. But but an adult can eat a cosmic brownie with multicolored sprinkles, shit out by some robot in a factory somewhere. These Pepperidge Farms are batch crafted. Anyway, so Goldfish, of everything on this list, Goldfish are the snack that I buy the most. I would say that I buy one of these. I don't even know what you would call it. I buy a carton, a bag, I guess, once a month. I like them. They're a little salty, a little cheesy, a little crispy. A pouch, you can call it a pouch if you want. You know what's... They're multifaceted. You can eat it by the handful, or you could toss it in soup. I think they're oyster crackers, really. They were originally meant to, be added to soup as a little bit crunchy. I love them, man. I got nothing against the Goldfish. I'm putting it up in the S. And the other thing I'm going to say, and people are not going to like this because it sounds like, I'm only concerned with like the nutrition. It is one of the snacks on the list where, like, look, it doesn't taste as good as a Cheez-It, okay? But the nutritional information is actually pretty good by snack standards. Like, I think you're way better off feeding your kid, like, a little Ziploc bag full of Goldfish than you are giving them a Welch's fruit snack. For sure. Like, their taste is, like, A tier, but the combination of taste and nutrition elevates them to an S. It's almost like a go-to snack. Cheez-Its not so much. Cheesies especially a little lower, but now I got to tell you, the S tier is about to get a little stacked. Harvest Cheddar Sun Chips, best flavor Sun Chips, without a doubt. Also, and I apologize to Miss Vicky's, the best Subway combo edition. Better than the Miss Vicky's jalapeno, better than the Miss Vicky's sea salt and malt vinegar, better than all the other Sun Chips, better than Baked Lay's, and better than white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. This is close to, if I was doing, voice reveal, if I was doing a Nicolas Cage style Leaving Las Vegas, but instead of killing myself with alcohol, I killed myself with salty snacks, I would be taking shopping carts full of this out of the grocery store. Of all the things on this list, this is probably the one that I like the taste of the most. When you do a combination of flavor and texture, this might be my number one. Now, I mean, it's really close up here, don't get me wrong, but I gotta think about it, okay? There's no garden salsa on the list, so we don't have to worry about it. There's no garden salsa on the list, okay? Beef jerky. I have many things I like about beef jerky. I have many problems that I have with beef jerky, okay? What's great about beef jerky, Jack Link specifically, flavor is great. It's also one of the only snacks that has like actual meat in it. So if you're looking for that, you don't have any other fucking options. Like, that's it. And it's good for you. In a way, at least, you know, is a high protein, low carbohydrate snack. What's the problem with it? It's so expensive. And honestly, like, the expense is like one thing. This is why I never buy it. Because even if you're like, if you're really concerned about your like protein intake, are you really going to buy like 100 grams of beef jerky for $9? You know, no, you got to start eating like, you know, whey protein. There's like $1 a scoop for twice as much protein. Like you're going to break the bank. And also like your arteries from the sodium if you try to get your protein intake through Jack Link's beef jerky. In a pinch, if you're like, oh, I got to maintain my macros, but like this is all there is, fair enough, okay, fair enough. But I'd never buy it at the grocery store just to like have in my house. The other thing is, and I say this as somebody who likes the taste, and I've respected nutrition on the whole list, but when I buy a snack, I want like some bingeability, and due to the price of beef jerky, you don't get it. Like when I snack, and this is self-destructive, but I want to feel like a little full. I want to feel a pang of regret after it. If you buy beef jerky, you eat it, you're like, okay, I could keep going for like 2 hours. I want to like eat a snack and be like, I don't want to eat again. Maybe tomorrow. Ask me tomorrow. So overall, I mean, like, this is a really tough one for me to put it in here. It's definitely like, if somebody had this out in a bowl at their party, I would be like, thanks for the invite, Mr. Bezos. And you know I'd be grabbing as much of it as I could. I'd be shoving it in my inside jacket pocket. Every piece of beef jerky you grab is probably like $2 to $3. But overall, I don't buy it. Like, I'm always like unsatisfied in two ways. I'm always like, that was expensive and I'm not full. At least with cheese balls, you're like, I'm full, but so is my wallet, you know? Now, I'm not going to put the beef jerky below the cheese balls because that's just insanity, but either way, I'm putting it in the C tier. I mean, I'd probably stick it like right there. Now, I like beef jerky is the thing. It's just so damn expensive, man. Even like whenever, sometimes at like conventions, people will like, check it out, beef jerky. And you're like, well, that'll keep you going for like 45 minutes. You know, you didn't even, like, it's not even something you could really take when camping to, like, help you survive, you know? You take, like, a big container of, you know, beans or something like that over the beef jerky, like, anyway. I'm going off. Because someone said, would you really would rather have the fruit snacks? Well, like, if you're buying, I'll take some jerky. If everything on this list was free, then I'm probably putting beef jerky in the A tier, okay? But like it's, and I want you to buy 2 packs. I want you to buy 2 packages of it too. Because the one is not enough for me to feel satisfied. But given the price, I'm putting it down in the C tier. Lay's barbecue. I'm not an enormous Lay's fan. I will say, though, hey, just as like an objective observer here, okay? Not putting yellow bag Lay's on the list is actually like, I don't even like them that much, but come on. You're not, that's like not having a free space on your bingo card. With yellow bag Lay's is like, oh, they are there? Oh, yeah, never mind. All right. Yeah, they're just to the right of the Doritos. Yeah, okay, never mind. All right, you did good. You did good. Of the 3 Lay's on this list, look, in Canada, we got dill pickle, we got salt and vinegar. Those are like my 2 go-to flavors for Lay's. Obviously, we were talking about Ruffles. We're going all dressed or get the hell out of here. But of those 3 flavors, barbecue is the best. I think it's a classic potato chip. I think it has a classic flavor. This might surprise you. I would take a Lay's black bag over a kettle-cooked backyard barbecue. And I wouldn't say that for every flavor, but I like the thin crispiness. I like their barbecue blends. I would put it up in the A tier probably. I think that the Kettle has done a great job with their branding, is all I'm going to say. Because I think that people think like, oh, this is what you bust open at like the high school cafeteria. This is for people that with no taste. This is what you buy when you bought some Zinfandel and you need something to go with it. And I think that's fucked. I think that's absolutely idiotic. Don't get above your station. You're just a chip like any other chip. Just because you come in a thicker bag. You're all made in some bullshit factory anyway. It's not some old grandma's actually cooking it. Like, get over it. Get over yourself. Now, sour cream and onion, I get in a lot of trouble sometimes. But I'm telling you, this is just personal taste. I think there's something in the powdered dairy that people use to make sour cream flavored things that irritates my stomach. As a result, I always eat like 2 of them. And I'm like, this is delicious. Why don't I eat more sour cream and onion chips? And then after like the 3rd one, my stomach starts to be like, hey, hold up. What's going on with this? And it's like, it's sour cream and onion Lay's. It's, you know, sour cream and onion Ruffles. It's just, it happens with like it's something to do with the powdered dairy, man. I don't know. There's something, milk powder or something makes my stomach just be like, not upset, but it's just like, hey, stop that. So, I mean, I like the flavor, but for me personally, these are more in like the C tier. But, like, probably around there. I mean, I'm not going to, like, disrespect the Lay's by putting them below Bugles. Like, come on. Tostitos hint of lime. This is, like, the opposite of when I thought that they didn't put the white or the yellow Lay's on the list. You really have hint of lime and regular Tostitos. Like, you could have saved a little bit of time and just had like one of them. I get the hint of lime is like, it's a little different, but like so are a lot of snacks that are not on this list. Allegedly. But it's huge in the US. I mean, I like Tostitos okay. They're not my, I mean any lower mainlanders in the chat. If I'm buying tortilla chips, if I can get Fresh is Best, the local tortilla chips, I'm all about it. Otherwise, there's a brand, I think it's probably sacrilegious. I bet they're shit tortilla chips by like objective standards, but there's a brand called La Cochina, and the tortilla chips are thinner than I've ever seen in my entire life. Delicious. The Fresh is Best salsa is good too. Oh man, I love the Fresh is Best salsa. That's my go-to salsa. Yeah, La Cochina rules. It's Pog. It fucks so hard. Let's go. It's bomb. The Fiesta flavor's bomb. Dude, I'm just now realizing I thought I was buying shit tortilla chips, but everybody seems to like them. Let's go. Cochina means dirty. Coquina means kitchen. Maybe if you're Pablo Escobar. Anyway, I don't speak Spanish very well, clearly. Cocina! Okay. Fair enough. I don't speak Spanish, okay? I'm not like other people. I'm just like a normal guy. I don't speak Spanish, okay? I barely speak English. I speak a little bit of Korean. Shilahamnida hwajang shilodieo juseo. Mikju dubion juseo. Bali Bali. You know, pick up the pace. I'm waiting. Okay, Tostitos. Look, there's four on the political compass. There's four types of Tostitos, okay? Hint of lime, regular, rounds. There's five, actually, now that I think about it. Hint of lime, regular, rounds, scoops, multigrain. Something is wrong at the Tostitos factory because the best by far are the multigrain. The brown tortilla chips are the best. Something about the way that they got the most salt, and also like the way that the grains separate during the cooking process actually creates like an air pocket in the middle of each chip. I gotta say, personally, I think scoops are the worst. But it's mostly because, I mean, it's kind of insulting, right? Like making a chip that's shaped to be dippable. Like, I got no problem with a normal tortilla chip. Like, I think there's a reason you never go to like a real Mexican restaurant and they're like, check it out, we got scoops. It's like when they started making those happy face potatoes, you're like, this can't taste good. As soon as you start to optimize for shape instead of like actual flavor, I'm not a fan. Rounds are okay, but I also feel like that's kind of where Tostitos got too ambitious. Like they came out with the rounds and people were like, oh, I kind of like these. And then they started selling single serving bags of rounds. And I was like, know your place. The tortilla chip is something you get. You're snacking in front of the TV. You're, at a party or something like that. Nobody's going to the store and they're like, oh, give me some flavorless round tortilla chips. Like if you saw one of your friends buy it from the local convenience store and take it back, you'd be like no salsa, no nothing, just rounds. It's just strange. It's almost like a hospital food. I like the flavor of the rounds. I'm just saying, like it needs something a little extra. And then the two that are actually on the list, I mean, personally, I find they're pretty close, okay? The problem is that for these are good, okay? But they need more to shine. Like a chip without a salsa, let's not even talk about guacamole, nachos, etc., etc. But a chip without a salsa is not that impressive. And also, I kind of feel like Tostitos they've been passed in the tortilla chip game. In suburban Ontario 15 years ago, this was the only horse in the damn race. You want to get tortilla chips, you got to get Tostitos. It's all they got. They cornered the whole market. Nowadays, you got options. I feel like a Tostito is not bad, but it would be like, third or fourth on my list of what tortilla chip I would most like to buy. Hint of lime. Having said all that, I'd probably put it right around here on the C tier. Is there something about like a big white corn Tostito that it makes my lips hurt just looking at the bag? Like I feel like you get some that are so salty that when it passes into your mouth, like it hurts your lips. It's like you're in the Altiplano salt flats or something like that. It's just weird. I love them, don't get me wrong. Okay, Nutty Bars. I don't want to make any enemies. I really hate all this Little Debbie shit. I hate it all. Maybe the oatmeal cookies with like the custard in the middle, they're like okay. What is a Nutty Bar? Do I have my phone on me? Hold on. I didn't want to call them oatmeal cream pies, okay? But even like Swiss roll, I think, is kind of gross. At least like the Hostess ones. Nutty Bar. It's a chocolate-covered wafer. Nutty Bars. Have I consumed these? Oh, okay. I've consumed these. You guys are crazy. This is not good. This is like, you ever get, you have grandparents that bought those wafers as a kid, and it would be like, you know, some strawberry wafers, some vanilla wafers, and some chocolate wafers. These are just like the chocolate wafers, but then coated with an extra layer of chocolate. This is like this is a very low tier sweet snack, man. You know what? The thing that I'll say, because it looks like and I am biased against sweet snacks and very much in favor of the salty snacks, but like they did this snack tier list kind of dirty, right? Because they put on like all the salty snacks. Where's the candy bars? You know, where's a Snickers? Where's you know, a Payday? Where's a Twix? You know, where's a Butterfinger? They put on like the worst sweet snacks, but the best salty snacks. Those aren't, candy isn't snacks. So you're telling me a Cosmic Brownie is a snack, but like a Hershey bar is candy, even though the ingredient list is 1-to-1. Brownies aren't candy bars. Why? It doesn't make any sense. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, because I know what you're thinking. You're like, because it's more like bread. Okay, say it. Yeah, too much flour. So it's the flour content that determines whether something is a snack or a candy. I'm going to be honest. I can't actually like argue with that too much because a lot of the things here are made with either corn flour or wheat flour. You know what? That's actually a pretty convincing argument. I mean, potato chips aren't made with flour. Except for like the weird dude, they don't have the weird reconstituted chips. Do they still have munchies around? Munchos. Sorry, because we already had munchies earlier. Munchos, is that what they're called? Any Canadians in the chat? Munchos. Munchos potato crisps. Munchos are so gross. Dude, Munchos, that was like my go-to snack from the gas station. Why are Munchos so good? They are crispy and super salty, which is what I look for. That's true. Others noted the chip's lack of grease may be a draw for people who want a healthier chip. Source, dude, just trust me. Munchos permanently damaged my tongue. I must be fucked up, man, because like, if you put some Munchos in front of me right now, I've only just started to realize how funny the name is too. Oh man, I was all about Munchos. Hey, look at that. They're kosher too. Are they still around? I don't think it's a good sign for Munchos that the Wikipedia article is almost exclusively about how much the price of Munchos has risen since 1969. It's like a 2-paragraph Wikipedia article, and one of the paragraphs is entirely about inflation. They're still around. I buy them. Dude, I haven't had Munchos in forever, but oh man. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Nutty Bars. I'm going to do them a service, okay? I'm going to put them in F. I'm not going to put them in the trash. No, I'm going to put them in the trash can. And I'm just being real. If you put these opened on a table in front of me, I would not eat them. It's not like I'm too good for the snack. It's just the snack is not good enough to compensate for the fact that it's poisonous. Some of them are. Harvest Cheddar Sun Chips, not good for you. I'll eat them. I'll eat too many of them. Nutty Bars, don't think so. You ever had Hickory Sticks? Oh man, I can't believe they don't have Hickory Sticks on the list. Hickory Sticks is what you buy in Canada when you want a salty snack that has the highest quantity of item inside of the bag. They're like an incredibly thin lowercase L. You could actually stick your hand, like you could not drown in Lay's original potato chips. If you fell into the bin at the Hickory Sticks factory, just the way that, like, the constitution of them, you could be swallowed up and die. Your lungs would fill up with Hickory Sticks. It's probably never happened, though. God, I hope so. Nacho cheese Doritos, they're fine, but, like, unless you're, like, 10 years old, who's buying original nacho cheese Doritos? They're fine, but, like, at this point, you haven't picked a side. You haven't gone as either, like, a Cool Ranch or a Sweet Chili Heat or a Zesty or something like that. You're like, I'm an undecided voter. I haven't made up my mind on Doritos yet. Like, this is like the ultimate, like, this is like something your grandma would buy you if she heard you liked snacks. You know, I heard you like snacks, so the guy at the store said this is a very agreeable one. It's true. I'm not against it, but I would also, like, if I go to your house and you have a bag of nacho cheese Doritos in your pantry, it doesn't tell me anything about you as a human being. Some of these do. Like, if you got kettle cooked chips in your pantry, I'm like, you know, you're in, should we even be, like, eating today? Like, I feel like if I got the napkin dirty, you would be like, that's the good napkin. You owe me $1 million. If you got raisins in your cupboard, I would be like, if you don't have a child and you're not 90 years old, something is wrong with you. I don't even know what that... Oh, wait, is that the oatmeal cream pie? Okay. Don't care, didn't ask. Plus, you like plain goldfish? Excuse me, they're not plain goldfish. They're cheddar cheese flavored. They're fine. I mean, it's like, for me, it's the definition of like a B tier, I think. Here's the thing. We can use this as like a heuristic, right? Because Munchies, not Chex Mix, but Munchies, the analog we're using here, have Doritos nacho cheese flavored in them. The Doritos are about the middle of the 4 foods that are available in the Munchies. The hard cheesies are better, the Sun Chips are better, and the rolled gold pretzels are worse. So the Doritos are like right in the middle, more or less. Lay's Classic. I do have to say, it's kind of similar to like the nacho cheese Dorito. Like, there's 70 flavors of Lay's, and you're still buying yellow bag. It doesn't taste bad. Like, I would even say like it tastes good, but I'd never turn it down. But if they were like, hey, we've got regular or literally even sour cream and onion, I would be like, give me the sour cream and onion. So let's put this, it's still above beef jerky for sure. Regular Pringles, okay? I love a Pringle. Full stop. The end. I recognize it's one of those things you can say whatever you want to say. It's not even real potatoes. It's instant mashed potatoes. They press. Okay, none of this shit is real, man. You ever see a bugle tree? They're all some weird 1920s guy had too much time on his hands and was like, I'm gonna make, you know, salty corn. And then, like, when the world was able to communicate, where they're like, whoa, we got like 9 salty corns. And then they're all surviving because the market is huge, okay? I guess beef jerky is real, but I like just a regular Pringle. This, back when flying existed, this was a time, or this was a go-to. I would love to get a can of Pringles on the airplane. It's a great airplane food. I do know that this is part of the marketing, but the can sucks ass. It's the worst receptacle for any kind of food for a couple of reasons. hurts your hand when you start to get close to the bottom. And if you turn it upside down, it could be a little messy. But even just then, literally the bottom like 10 potato chips are just carrying the entire weight of the rest of the can. Like they can't help but get crinkled. Or crumpled. Crumbled? Like if you ever got a Pringles can that had an intact chip on the bottom, you're one in a million. They're not even like structurally stable because they're so stacked and stuff like that. Like it's not an arch, it's like a wave. Like it stands no chance. Anyway, I like a Pringle. Now that I think about it, now that I'm tasting everything on this list, first off, let's move you down a little bit. I'm going to put Pringles right around here in the mid-B tier. I do like them, but I think I just realized that I like them more than the average person, but, like, come on. The salt on the Pringles would be hidden a little different, too. Ruffles Original, this is an insane chip to put on the list. Because this is a chip that does not exist without a dip. Again, of all the Ruffles flavors, like... Ruffles all dressed. The fact that the purple bag is not on the list. There's one of the best chips on planet Earth. It's a go-to. It would be easily in the 3 candidates I would buy if I was bringing potato chips to a social gathering. But like regular Ruffles and like a spinach dip or something like that, I'm gonna be honest, I'm shoving them down here. And I think this might be the most controversial pick on the whole list, but if you gave me genuine tortilla chips and salsa or guacamole, no disrespect, I love it. I'll go all in. A Ruffle and then like a sour cream based chip dip, I'd rather just the chip contain the flavor itself. I'm not even talking from a price or, you know, a convenience standpoint, but I would rather just have like flavored salt than like, hey, we got like, you know, a little creamy French onion flavoring inside of a sour cream container. Like, I would rather have plain Lay's than plain Ruffles straight out the bag for sure. These are peanuts, not pistachios. I can tell. These are peanuts. I think. Is this correct? They look like peanuts to me. The first thing I'll say is this is insane. If you're buying peanuts in the shell and you're not the general manager of a restaurant where part of the appeal is they can just toss that shit right on the floor, you've lost your mind. Why? It's 2021, you're buying like shell on peanuts? And you're not at like a sporting event or something? Like, I feed them to the squirrels on my deck? Okay, that's fair enough. Dude, this is why I hate to be a boomer, but this is why like Eastside Mario's has probably never been good, but was better when I was a kid. Because they used to give you, this is a Canadian Italian restaurant, they used to give you the peanuts with the shell on, and then they told you to just throw the shell on the ground, and then when you paid for your meal, you could spin a wheel, and the wheel would be like, you know, don't pay tax anymore, or, you know, free Caesar salad, blah, blah, blah. But then one of the things was you got to sweep up the damn peanuts. I love, no, not income tax, but like on the tax on the receipt. That would be a good one. Then, yeah, like one of the things on the wheel was like you got to sweep up the peanuts. So like I always enjoy a restaurant like that keeps you on your toes. Plus, Eastside Mario's used to have trivia on the TV, and then they'd have a little console at your table where you could play against the other people in the restaurant. Some of the greatest of all time restaurant entertainment. But anyway, I mean, I really like peanuts. Peanuts with the shells on, I mean, it's not like the way that I'm like most prone to eat them, but I'll buy some peanuts or like some nut mix from time to time. And like it's the same price as beef jerky, which means it's kind of expensive, but you get so much more bang for your buck, man. I'll also go to bat for peanuts in general. Like, I know some people are like, oh, peanuts are low tier. I only eat pistachios or cashews or almonds. I'm like, fuck you. Peanuts are delicious. I would take, for health reasons, I guess I would take an almond over a peanut. But for like flavor reasons, I'd rather have a peanut than an almond. I'll go ahead and say it. Now, I'd rather have a cashew than both. But, I mean, come on. That's like it's a pricey decision to be making. But either way, I put peanuts like way up here in the B tier. I hate that this is the only one that's a PNG. I don't know why that bothers me so much. I told you we were going to be here for a while. Oh, yeah, the Sun Chips as well. You're right, the Sun Chips. Pita Chips are also kind of goated. I would say Pita Chips might be like one of the most underrated snacks on the planet. Why don't people talk more about Pita Chips? They're not good for you. But it's like a cracker and a chip rolled into one. It's got all the structural integrity of like a wheat thin, but then like the salty flavor of a Lay's. Sometimes they're too hard. I've never had a pita chip where I was like, my teeth hurt from eating it. Might cut the roof of your mouth a little bit, but I also, because people were like, what about Ruffles? You need a dip. You need a dip for pita chips. I don't think so, man. I'll be eating the pita chips plain out the bag, no problem. They get stale quickly. Maybe true, never been a problem for me. I'll tell you straight up, pita chips going in the A tier. No doubt about that. I haven't eaten them enough to make them an S tier possibility, but perspective for the future. This is like EA Sports. They're rated like 80 overall, but with an A potential. My mom would love that rating. Dude, honestly, like a lot of the snacks you buy when you're older are not good. Like the sesame chips and stuff like that, where it's like just a salty communion wafer. Those are, I don't understand why those exist. It's like, I just genuinely think that those aren't. And then there's only like 9 of them in a pack. And they're not good for you. They taste bad. And they're just weird. But the pita chips are a great boomer snack. Love a Rice Crisp? You guys are crazy, man. I have weird opinions, though. Do they still have crispy minis in the U.S.? The Quaker Oats rice cakes, but shrunk down and then with potato chip seasoning on top of them. Every once in a while, you get a dill pickle crispy mini that's like, it didn't puff properly, so it's just like a chip. And then it's got a little cup in the middle that caught all the dill pickle seasoning. When you eat it, your tongue instantly is like your salivary glands go into overload. Oh man, it's delicious. The powder on those is potent as hell. Very true. So true. True. Crispy minis have been ruined for me. They were always the most eaten snack in my grocery store by rats. Maybe the rats have good taste. They also like cheese. Also, most homes do not have rats. Most restaurants probably have rats. You're going to tell me rats don't have a good palate? They're not eating your, 6 out of 10 mid paella. They're going to ask for Luigi and going, hey, give me the leftover bison ragu. I think rats have better taste than most people, honestly. Anyway, pizza goldfish. I'm just going to be honest. I've never consumed pizza goldfish. I'm going to move that to the I have not eaten it tier. Anytime I get goldfish, I'm just getting the cheddar goldfish, man. I don't understand why you would buy pizza. I almost bought pretzel one time, but then I looked at the back of it and I was like, this is one of the worst foods you could eat, nutritionally speaking. And then I went back to the cheddar cheese. Now, pizza Pringles I have had. This is also going to be a bit of a spicy take. I would take the regular Pringles over the pizza Pringles. I feel like pizza, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I've ever had a great pizza-flavored snack food. Like, the real thing for pizza tastes so good. The distilled pizza that they use for the flavored salt, I'm like, I'm not against it, but I'm not all about it. There's nothing really more to say about that. Now, smart food. This is something I legitimately thought only existed in Canada because the name is so funny. Like, you're eating a kilogram of white cheddar popcorn, and you're like, oh, don't worry, it's smart food. It's good for you. But it's kind of insane. Like, you know, I said cheese balls, they're not worth eating because you have to wash your hands afterwards. Smart food is like the exact opposite. Like, your hands actually become like more powder than skin, and yet you gotta love it. Like, smart food is very tasty. I know that Nooch Pop, the nutritional yeast popcorn, is supposed to be kind of like the feel-good smart food. I've never been able to bring myself to eat it just because I'm like, I don't want it to ruin the smart food memories that I have. This is like the ultimate arena snack. What about Skinny Pop? Look, I don't know what brands they have in America, okay? We have Skinny Pop and we have Nooch Pop. I didn't know which one was more popular, so I went with Nooch Pop. I've never had any of those. I've had veggie crisps and veggie straws. I would probably offend a lot of people when I place those in like the B tier as well, because I think most people think they're like a D. But smart food, I mean, it's an A. I'd be eating it if we had it right now. Rolled Gold, I'm just gonna level with you. I love a pretzel. I love a pretzel nugget. I love a pretzel rod. We will have Snyder's of Hanover later. They make a delicious tasting snack that probably should be considered a, you know, controlled substance based on how bad it is for you, but it's delicious. But Rolled Gold, like, you gotta get with the times, man. I'll never be upset to have a pretzel, but like, you're really out here with this like old and busted, like 1970s Rolled Gold, just a little bit of salt on it. Like, you gotta innovate. You got to put like some peanut butter in there, like some cheddar cheese powder or something, or because it's just like, it's so dry. A lot of these are kind of plain-ish, but like this is the only one that actually like, these all stimulate saliva production. This one actually, like, it takes your saliva from you. This is a crazy take. And the thing that is fucking crazy to me is that I love pretzels. Soft pretzels, hard pretzels. I'm for the, even, okay, you know what? I'd rather have the Rolled Gold twisty pretzel than the one that's like shaped like a weird checkerboard. Those ones are like, I'm not all about it. But like the regular Rolled Gold is just, it's the worst part of the snack mix. I just can't get down with it, man. I mean, I've said some negative things about it. I still would rather like have it than, you know, some of the other things on the list. I'm putting it in the high D tier. And I like a pretzel. It's just baked wheat with salt on it. But like, this one suffers more because there's so many other better pretzels. I mean, like Snyder's is like, they're blowing them out of the water, man. Probably also blowing your blood pressure up through the freaking roof. I mean, like one quote-unquote single-serving bag is like, well, I mean, I call it a single-serving bag because a normal person would eat the bag in like one sitting while watching a movie. But on the back of it, they're like, suggested servings 4. And you're like, come on, don't lie to yourself. It's like 600 calories or something. Anyway, okay, puffy Cheetos. I know it's a debate. It causes a great Cheeto schism. I'm very much of the belief that a puffy Cheeto is fine, but is not as good as a crunchy. I would never turn down a puffy Cheeto, but I am a crunchy over puffy guy myself. These I would probably, sometimes you do get a hankering, I'll give you that, but I would probably put these at the top of the C tier. I'm happy with this. I think they're the best of the C tier snacks, but not worthy of knocking off even peanuts, in my opinion. I mean, Sun-Made raisins is actually just... What is the taste of raisin that, like, when you eat it, it kind of, like, hurts the back of your mouth? Is it, like... Because they're not sour. They're, like, so sweet that they're, like... they're bitter or something. No, you know what I'm talking about. Like, when you eat a raisin and you're like... It's not an allergy. You know how many raisins I ate as a kid? Couldn't deal with the cognitive dissonance of being allergic to it, having eaten so many as a child. I think it's something to do with the Sun-Made, like, I think it's like a syrup or something on it that's like, it's overly sweet or something like that. It's a sulfur preservative. Thank you! And then you type that I'm allergic to. Apparently, there's a sulfur preservative on it, chat, that you didn't know what the hell you were talking about. That's the weird taste that happens with raisin, okay? And yeah, I will say, other dried fruits, I kind of get the same thing. Like, dried mango is pretty tasty, but when I eat, like, a dried apricot or something like that, I'm like, oh, this kind of has that weird raisin taste to it. Also, like... I hate when you open a little cardboard box full of raisins and then there's just like one big raisin blob in there. This shit is like actually disgusting. This is just not good. I don't mind raisins in something. I don't mind raisin bread. If someone made like a food and they were like, oh, by the way, there's raisins in it, I'd be like, oh, yum. But, like, eating a box full of raisins is disgusting. I'm sorry to say. And I also have to say it does the same shit as fruit snacks. Like, raisins are not good for you. They're probably better for you than a Nutty Bar. But, like, substantially worse for you than, like, an apple. And an apple tastes good, whereas raisins taste like garbage. So, like, as an ingredient in something... I'm for it. A box of raisins is insanity. It's definitely in the F tier. I would rather eat a cosmic brownie. I don't know, man. It might be at the very bottom of the trash can, like the first thing thrown out. I do not like raisins. Just eat like a real piece of fruit. You don't even need a cardboard box. Nature gave it a peel. Why are we still eating raisins? I don't think anybody out there is like, I love raisins. I eat them all the time. I think it's, you know, your mom puts them in your lunch and you're like, okay. Like, you guys are going to bat for a food that, if we're being honest, you have not eaten outside of the context of an oatmeal cookie since, you know, you were probably in like the 7th grade. Raisin Bran? I mean, as long as I'm making enemies, I might as well just say it. Like, this is another cereal take that we get into trouble with a lot on this channel, me and the team. I think Raisin Bran actually sucks ass. The bran is, like, tasteless, and then the raisins taste bad. It's like if they made Lucky Charms, but instead of, like, marshmallows, there was, like, I don't know, like a apple seed inside of it. They're like, you know, you got oat clusters, wheat letters, and apple seeds. You'd be like, what the heck, apple seeds? I can't believe that I'm put in the position that, like, I'm the only raisin hater. It's not even a real fruit. It's like a fruit product. This is like nature's fruit by the foot. I don't know if it's like a Canadian thing or what, but like I'm like never I'm at the grocery store. I see everybody's cart. This, less so. This, never seen it in my life, but I've eaten something similar. This. I ain't ever see anybody put sun-made raisins in their cart. I bet it's next time you go to the grocery store, go to the raisin aisle. They'll be next to the fruit snacks in the fake fruit aisle. And then just reach like 8 boxes in. I think you will find an expiration date where the year starts with a 1. It'll be like, please eat before June 8th, 1999. And they've never been called on it. Nobody's buying this stuff. Anyway, I'm moving on. What the hell is this? This is just a container of bird seed. Are these sunflower seeds? Sunflower seeds are also really bad. I'm so sorry, but it's true. It's a food you eat like for sport because you're bored. It's just like I don't mind them, but I would never buy them. Like there's salt. Like, you don't like sunflower seeds. You actually just like working for salt, which is fine. And if you're at like a baseball game where you're going to be there for 4 hours anyway, like, sure, this is a snack you can eat while you play baseball, but that's not the criteria I use to measure how good it is. Like, good fiber? Yeah, but like, so are a lot of things. Like, I'd rather just eat like a salad than spend half an hour eating 8 calories of sunflower seeds. Like, it's just nothing to it. That's the point. This shit is just messed up, man. It's just messed up. It's only 8 calories for a half hour of entertainment. You can watch Netflix for 0 calories, though. The point is, it's fun to eat. Ask your dentist if he thinks it's fun to eat sunflower seeds. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I don't understand. I bought sunflower seeds like 2 times in my whole life. And both times while eating them, it's one of the only snacks where I've ever like gotten halfway through and been like, that's enough. I just can't be fucked anymore. But then even what's so messed up with it is that there are places where you can get like shelled sunflower seeds, so you don't have to go through the trouble of shelling them. But at the same time, like, that's even worse. Because if you take away the fun part of a sunflower seed, what's the point? It's not like the sunflower seed actually like tastes good. These MFs actually eating seeds is a pastime activity. I think it's kind of similar to the raisins, you know? Like, I don't mind a seed in something. I'll eat some granola, you know? I'll eat a muesli or something like that. But to just eat a package of sunflower seeds is like psychotic. Unless you actually live in a photograph of the Dust Bowl. Like, why don't they put like a piece of wheat on the list? Hey, every once in a while, you just get bored. Hey, there's a little stalk of wheat you can chew on. How about that? Like, it's the same level of culinary value. I'm putting it in the F tier, though, because honestly, I think this tier is like I would eat it but regret it. We finally got something in the F tier. Okay, Ritz Crackers. I mean, I'm realizing now how many enemies I'm making. I like a Ritz. It's salty. It's buttery. It's flaky. It's rich. It's delicious. I think people might be like, these are plain. They don't even have like any cheese on them or nothing. But they got so much butter inside of them. They don't need the cheese. They already got that richness built in, baked in. Now, you might say like it's dry as hell. I don't think so, man, because it's so buttery. A saltine, like a premium plus, I'll eat them. You eat like 3 of those in a row, you need a glass of water. The Ritz are like, I think they're probably like a net diuretic, but they're not. I wouldn't describe them necessarily as dry. Now, I searched my heart. I would put it in the S tier. It's an S alone. It's an S with some cheddar cheese. I even like the little Ritz sandwiches with the fake peanut butter or the cheese whiz in them. I'm all about them, man. I think they broke the mold when they made that recipe. Cheddar and sour cream Ruffles. You might think I dislike Ruffles because I placed the original at the bottom of the D tier. It's more, if anything else, it's like Wayne Gretzky having a zeroed out stat line in a game and he's like a -3. You're like, Wayne, you know, that could happen to anybody. But it hurts more because we were really relying on you because you're the best player that's ever played the game. Like Ruffles, they got a good texture. They got a good flavor. To put the blue bag on here was insulting when you got purple bag sitting right there. But even orange bag is pretty good. I have the same problem with this that I have with Lay's sour cream and onion, which is that the powdered dairy makes my tummy feel weird. But I would definitely feel comfortable putting it. I mean, I put it above the nacho cheese Doritos at a minimum. Kettle cooked salt and vinegar. Delicious. That being said, there is a problem with this. If you eat more than 4 of them, you're going to get like a canker sore. It's an issue. Like it'll actually create like a portal on your tongue. If it didn't toast your tongue, it'd be 10 out of 10. I feel the same about these that I do about sour Skittles. That like the first few of them, I'm like, dude, they should make everything sour. And then after like you're halfway through the sour Skittles container and you've got no taste buds left, you've exfoliated your whole tongue. You're like, they gotta do something, man. They gotta make the sugar like less viscous or something. Like this is bad. First time I ever had a canker sore was because of these. These are genuinely like acid, but like in a good way. It's tough, man. This is a tough one to place. I mean, I'm going to put it right next to the barbecue. I'm going to say your mileage may vary. If I need a little spice in my life, sure. But I'm not going to delude myself. Because what I'll do is I'll buy them and be like, I'll just eat a few. And then like an hour later, I'm like, like I'm spitting blood out into the sink. So Snyder's of Hanover, I mean, I got to level with you. I don't know what flavor this is. If it's honey or cheddar cheese, it's an S. It's the best pretzel, I think, that you can buy on the market anywhere. That's honey mustard. It's an incredible snack. Again, I hope you didn't think I was a pretzel hater just because of my rolled gold take, but it's an unbelievably tasty snack. It's so bad for you that, like, let me look up, okay? Because I think it's one of the, it's much like you look at the back of a potato chip bag, and you're like, oh, you know, this one bag is 300 calories, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. I understand that. I buy in. The only 2 snack foods in my life have I ever looked at the back and been like, what the fuck? One of them was the Snyder's of Hanover pretzel nuggets. And the other one was the Takis Fuego, where I was like, this bag is like this big and it's 400 calories? Is that even, like, what the hell are they doing? Snyder's of Hanover, honey, mustard, and onion, pretzel, nutrition. Okay, one moment, please. I'm looking it up right now. Servings per container. So in a 12-ounce container, they say there's 12 servings. Come on. That's they're trying to. That's the serving size for a unit of alcohol. And they're trying to make that the serving size for a pretzel. So they're saying, first off, 12 servings a bag. I can't, yeah, you're absolutely right. How the hell did the FDA agree to this stuff, man? So there's 12 servings in a bag. Every serving is 140 calories. Has 10%, 1 ounce has 10% of your recommended daily allotment of sodium, 15% of your daily allotment of saturated fat, 11% of your daily allotment of saturated fat overall in 1 ounce. That shit is crazy. I think it's like more calorically dense than like olive oil. But they taste so damn good. And I will say a 12-ounce bag, that's probably, you could split that bag 2 people. And you would only have 90%. You would be satisfied. And you would have 90% of your daily allotment of saturated fat. So you could still have like, you know, like an undressed salad later in the day or something like that. That being said, though, they are absolutely delicious. That's why I'm putting them up here in the A tier. 12 ounces is a ton of pretzels. Not when they taste this damn good. I mean, for it to be an S tier in spite of this is a great endorsement of its taste. Did I say it wrong? It's in the S tier, whatever. Thanks, you ruined them for me. I didn't ruin them. That's just what they objectively are. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I didn't come up with the recipe. If I did, I'd probably be like, maybe like a little less butter. Anyway, they're delicious. I'm eating from a 16-ounce bag. It's 2 weeks worth. You might have some Herculean self-control, though. Anyway. Sour cream and onion Pringles. I feel like they're very generous with the sour cream and onion packaging or powder. I like them, but I do have to tell you, I have the same problem with this that I have with every other sour cream-based snack. I eat a few of them, and I'm like, I'm done. My tummy gets a little hurdy-gurdy. So, like, I'd probably, I mean, I got to put it over pizza. Like, let's not be ridiculous, but probably around here. What is purple Dorito? Is that sweet chili heat? It's sweet chili. Sweet chili. Sweet chili. It's the best Dorito flavor. Cool Ranch, I might have said, is the best. That's because I didn't know you had sweet chili heat in America. When they introduced this in the early to mid-2000s, it was a revolution for me as a Doritos customer and for the corporation themselves, I hope. I mean, Cool Ranch is good. It's great even, but I mean, this is better. So it has to be in the S tier by default. These are the oatmeal cookies. Is that correct? These are the oatmeal with the, they're not? I'm not going to say the word. Those are Star Crunchies? What the hell is a Star Crunchy, dude? Star Crunchy. Star Crunch. What is in a Star Crunch? A soft, chewy cookie topped with caramel and crispy rice and coated with fudge. Star Crunch Cosmic Cookie. This shit looks like you left cereal in the cereal box too long. I've had it. It's horrible. I'm going to do something I've never done, and I'm just going to rely on chat for this one. I haven't eaten it But from looking at it, I can taste it. And I think that it belongs down here. Probably ahead of Raisins, if we're being honest. It's weird how you can like look at something and know how it tastes, right? But then I realized that like the first 3 years of your life, as soon as you can grab things, you literally just pop it in your mouth. So no wonder I can like look at my doorknob and know like exactly how it tastes. I spent 36 months just trying to like, you know, eat anything I found on the ground. You can hit me with all the question marks you want to. I have a child. She's very smart. Sometimes she's still like, what's this? And you're like, it's cat fur. I think it gets stored in your deep memory though. Because now if you thought about eating cat fur, you're like, I know exactly how it tastes. They just be eating anything, man. I didn't do that? How would you know? Were you like a self-raised baby? That would explain why you're on Twitch. What is this? I've never seen blue Sunchip. Is this original Sunchip flavor? What is blue? Regular? I've never seen this in my life. I honestly thought Harvest Cheddar would be considered original. I've had some saltless Sunchips because they put the saltless ones in the Munchies bag and then tell you it's Harvest Cheddar. But really, they're only here's the way they put unseasoned Sunchips in the Munchies bag, and then the Doritos surplus powder shakes onto the edges of the Sunchip, and they go, see? You think I don't see what's going on here? Anyway, I mean, I'm much like the rolled gold, and much like, but better because they're Sunchips, and much like the Ruffles. Why would you buy the flavorless one when the flavored ones exist? I love Sunchips, man. And I think like if you strip away all the flavoring as they've done here, they'd be like one of my favorite chips to eat just based on their own texture and crunch and, you know, that natural flavor goodness. But like, why would you? I feel like it's also like harder to find these than to find the Harvest Cheddar ones. I gotta just, admittedly, this might be better than something like a Frito. But at the same time, it looks worse because this is right there. You know, it's like buying the worst Lamborghini. Are you really going to be like, it's better than a Honda Accord? Or are you only going to anchor yourself on the idea that it's worse than the, you know, Murcielago? Like the whole time I would eat these, I wouldn't be like, at least it's not Fritos. I would be eating these and being like, man, these would really hit different with a little Harvest Cheddar on them. Yes, if I was making a car tier list, I would rather have a Honda Accord than the worst Lamborghini, because at least with your Accord, you can feel superior to all the Civic drivers, of which there are many. Many people are saying this. Whereas with a Lamborghini, anytime somebody with a better Lamborghini drives by, they're going to look down on you. They're going to look down their nose and be like, really? You got the Gallardo? Okay, sure. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. Regular Tostitos, again, I don't mean to offend. I would prefer them perhaps very slightly to Twist of Lime. But the fact, I mean, it's got salsa on the bag. It's got cheese, queso on the bag. If you want it to taste like this, you should put this in the bag. If you want it to taste like this, you should put this in the bag. I get that there's like a, you know, a perishable thing. But you need another thing to go along with it. So I have to rate it lower at its present state. Which is why Ruffles ended up so low in the original as well. Multigrain scoops are the best. Jay, I'm with you on the multigrain. We said some things we regret on the scoops, but the multigrain texture and flavor is strange, but it's the most superior of all the Tostitos. Triscuits original. This is actually a cereal for people that are over the age of 90 years old. Like I don't mind Triscuits, but I think Nabisco changed the game when they introduced the flavored ones, like the olive oil and cracked black pepper and rosemary and garlic. Like at least those you weren't like, I have to look at the back of the box and go like Triscuit, buffalo mozzarella, little cherry tomato, little, you know, parsley on top of it, and then put it under the broiler for 2 minutes or something like that. Just eating them out of the box, this is untenable, in my opinion. I also say, like, I wouldn't go so far as to say Triscuits are bad for you, but what I would say is that you might be surprised at a serving size for Triscuit. I think one Triscuit is like 40 calories. 3 to 4 Triscuits, I'm calling it right now, 3 to 4 Triscuits, 150 calories. What the fuck? No way. Okay, you know what? Let me Triscuit nutrition facts. Okay, I was wrong. 6 crackers is 120 calories. Now look, one Triscuit is larger than a Cheez-It. It's probably larger than 2 Cheez-Its. But who's eating 6 Triscuits in a single sitting? You're eating 10 minimum. Maybe 8 if you're living an austere lifestyle. You eat 6 Triscuits at a time, a box takes like a month to finish. I don't buy it. Anyway, I think they're okay. But a plain Triscuit, I mean, I'd rather have a plain Ruffle for sure. Come on. Wheat Thins. I honestly think I ate so much of these as a child that I just overdosed, and I have to recuse myself. I cannot judge them even close to objectively. Because this was like the go-to snack in my house as a kid. I probably ate like a half a box of Wheat Thins 4 times a week for 8 years. Like it's way too much. To the point where like I didn't even appreciate them anymore. It was just like a staple. Like it was just making up like the bulk of my caloric content every single day. I mean, they taste in a vacuum. They taste better than a Triscuit, I think. They taste less natural, which I think is, when we're talking about snack food, is like for the best. They're toppable. But I mean, again, like almost any cracker, when you top it with cheese, you're throwing... I'm not even that much... I'm not nutrition pilled, okay? But at the same time, like you're just throwing it out the window. Like these are bad for you to begin with. But then once you add like a little cheddar cheese on top of it, like you're just saying like, you know, I'm taking my life into my own damn hands. That being said, they're tasty, don't get me wrong. But I probably... I might even put them like right there. I'm going to put them above Fritos. But I'd rather have like an unflavored Tostito or a hint of lime, I think. And then flavor blasted with cheddar, I have to keep that in the have not consumed tier. Because again, when you've got perfection, why deviate? When I go to McDonald's, I go once a month. I already have the perfect order. Give me a 10-piece combo, hot mustard, sweet and sour sauce, and a Coke Zero. I don't go enough to ever feel like, oh, maybe I should mix it up and have a quarter pounder with cheese. Same thing. I eat Goldfish, you know, once a month. I don't need to get the flavor blasted. It's been so long, I forgot what the originals taste like. And that's where I'm at. That's the list. Take a screenshot. This is what the real streamers do. They do a little print screen and then they post it on Twitter just to, because honestly, getting hate clicks is like the best thing about tier lists. Nobody ever looks at a tier list and is like, I agree with 80% of it. You look at a tier list, you find the one thing that is like unthinkable, and you go, what the heck? Trix in the S tier? Trix is a D tier cereal. So this is like basically just pure engagement farming. So this is, you know, if you disagree with my rankings, that's fine. It's all personal preference. There's some that I'm like, I'm definitely willing to fight for, and then there's some that I'm not so strong on. The one that I'm like, you don't want to argue about this because you're just going to push me more to the extreme. I'm going to dig my heels in even more. Raisins belong in the bottom tier. And if you think mentally that they don't, I want to see your grocery receipts from the last 6 months. I would imagine 1% of the people in this chat are buying raisins. And yet it seems like at least 20% of people are like, I love them. You're not buying that shit. You're not buying the sweaty red cardboard box. Be honest. If they're so good, why don't you buy them? If you really don't, why ain't you signed yet? I don't buy any of this shit. Well, fair enough. This is honestly probably for the best, quite frankly. What do you mean sweaty? Honestly, if your mom puts a Sun-Maid red box of raisins in your lunch bag and it's the spring or summer season, those raisins be sweating it. Like you open up and the relative humidity of the room goes up a little bit. Like it'll fog your glasses up when you open up the box. Like they're still alive in there, man. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what the hell like raisins are. Every other dried fruit is named after the fruit that it's dried from, except prunes, but that's like a special case. It's dried apricots, dried bananas, dried mangoes, dried apples. Dried grapes are like raisins. Why are you trying to like distance yourself? It's so weird. I honestly, I mean, there's some shit on this list that I think you only should have eaten in the Dust Bowl. Sunflower seeds, cheese balls. I mean, I don't mind animal crackers, but let's be honest. That's a snack that is just, when you think about it, you're like, that shit had to be invented in the 1800s. When they didn't have flavors yet, so they're like, I don't know, cut it in the shape of a elephant or something. We've made a lot of innovations in the snack game since then. Corn nuts, I don't know if I would say they're worse than raisins, but like, they just, look, I mean, I could come up with something about every single one of these probably, at least a few of them. Cosmic brownies taste like a chemistry class. Corn nuts, they gotta make the nut part of it, or maybe is it the corn? I don't know. They gotta make it softer. It's dangerously hard. Like, it's actually a health risk for your teeth. Raisins, I think we've covered enough. Like, it's like eating, you know, chemical glue, like an epoxy. I don't even know what this shit is. Nutty Bar is like grandma's favorite snack from 1953. Anyway, that's good. Slash marker. Harvest Cheddar Sun Chips, though. Oh, man. Oh.